Oh, you know who I just sounded like? The nervous knitter. Hello, everyone. How are you guys doing? I hope you can hear me. I'm outside, and it looks a little dark on camera, or on the monitor, so I hope it's not really dark. And you're going to be hearing a lot of, hopefully not too loud, life noises. Um, the neighborhood teen, or the neighbor teen, is mowing the lawn over there, and kids are screaming and on swings. I can see one on a swing, and it's just a glorious day out today. It is 76 degrees Fahrenheit. Today's Saturday, what is today's date? The 10th? I think the 10th, 9th or 10th. The 10th. Today's the 10th. Grocery shopping's done. I've done a lot of running around this morning, and of course the bugs and stuff are out. So, yeah, I feel like it's been forever since I've recorded, and it's only been, 1 week break? So yeah, last time after vacation I did the video, and then I crashed. I don't know if I picked up something or whatever. I had a headache that wouldn't go away. I feel like I haven't done a lot of crocheting. Whatever I've been doing is very slow. I've been deliberate about being slow. I think I was trying to rush getting fall prep together, and yeah, it's not my usual, and my mind and body were rebelling. But anyway, I'm here. How are you guys doing? Before I always forget, welcome back to everyone, and to any new subscribers, thanks for coming by. Welcome. I have notes today, but they're not organized notes. They are just things I jotted down. So this thing's always giving me error messages or some kind of message. I wrote down things to remember to talk about, but it's not necessarily organized notes. So bear with me. The first thing I want to talk about is the two tutorials that I put up. Right now I'm calling them kind of demonstrations because my setup isn't the best. It takes a lot to prep my area. Hang on, I need to move my table. Nothing falls on me. It's too close. My setup is not ideal for recording, and it takes a lot of maneuvering to get everything in place to do that. So yeah, so I did the tutorial / demonstration on the rib brim. I know a lot of people don't like that. I've said before, I do prefer that. Now, in the beginning, I did not like it at all because, I'm about the instant gratification, and it does take a little while, but it takes a little while the first few times you do it, and then muscle memory really does kick in, and you get used to it, and before you know it, you're like, oh, I have my brim. So I hope that's useful to you guys. I know a couple of people mentioned about showing stuff from the beginning. I will think about that. Again, like I said, my setup takes work, to get into a position to do that. And then the other one I did was the wrapped or the purled or wrapped single crochet. It's called different things. I first learned it as the purled single crochet, and then somebody else called it the wrapped single crochet. There were a couple of tutorials that I used to use. Okay. Fair warning if you hear me scream. Our awning or gazebo that we've had on our deck for like years. Last year we had a really bad windstorm, and it tipped over and bent, and we had to get rid of it. It was one of those really heavy ones, solid ones. So right now, last week we just put up, or Father Minion and the Minions put up like a regular awning, and it's a little wiry, and it's already, I think, tipped over and bent. I knew when they were putting it up that it wasn't going to work, especially for where we are and the wind that we get. So we've had some crazy weather this last week with like really crazy rainstorms and just out of the blue rainstorms. I think the week before that we even had a microburst, which is kind of a little tornado type thing or other at some parts of the state. So we've had crazy weather. So anyway, it was put up, and because we were going to have severe weather, he took off the covering. and I don't know if that with the wind blew it over, but basically it's bent and things are moving. So long story short, if I yell, that means the thing is trying to come down on me. So anyway, the purled single crochet, I think Kim Guzman had a tutorial. I think was the one that I used when I first learned it. I can't find that anymore. I found a couple of other tutorials, but they do it a little differently than I remember she did it, so that's why I decided to do a video and Am I recording? Oh yeah, hold on. Whenever I reach over, it's because my monitor goes to sleep and I need to make sure that I'm in frame, so I'm tapping it. And my mouse was right over the button and I wasn't sure. Yep, I'm still recording. I recorded that because I referred to it in a couple of my patterns, and I said, search YouTube. And I was revising, and I went to look for the actual link to include in the pattern, because this was one of my earlier patterns and I didn't put actual links. And I couldn't find it, so I just record it the way I learned it, and it works for me. So that's why you have those. So I hope those are useful to you guys, especially the purl single crochet. I like it for edgings a lot, especially when I do baby hats. I like to use it on there. So hopefully you guys find it useful as well. I have a couple other things that I wanted to do a tutorial / demonstrate. So we'll see if I have time in the coming week to do that, or at least for me to record it, and then, the whole editing and stuff. So, all right, that was that. The other thing is the Divine hat. It hit a little bit of resurgence with you guys. I've mentioned over and over and over that favorite hat pattern. Not even my pattern, but I've been so excited to see everybody doing it. Tons of people are making tons of them, sending them to Billy, and I think to Amber as well. I included a few that I had in stash in the box I sent to Amber. But and when I had sent my stuff to Billy, I had included a couple in there as well. So I'm just so excited. I don't know why. It's not even my pattern, and I love it. I love seeing it. I love playing with the brim. I never right now do the brim that's in the pattern anymore. I like to add different brims. I particularly like doing just a single crochet brim, or a single crochet with the purl single crochet mixed in. That is my preferred. I have one of the hats that I used last winter that I added on the ribbed, the slip stitch rib. Did I do a slip stitch or single crochet? I did a single crochet ribbed edging at the end of it. So yeah, I love it. I even have a little slideshow video, because early on when I did videos, I was never in it. I didn't talk much. I just did like finished items slideshows, and I have one I think from 6 or 7 years ago that's titled what did I call it? Simply Divine, because I love the divine, and it is Simply Divine. So I'll put a link to that below. I was even thinking of doing a new one, part 2, but we'll see. But I've probably done well over 200 of those hats since I started doing it. Probably a whole lot more. Yeah, but it's just so fun. I don't know what it is about that pattern. Once I saw it, I've made it. I think I've made one almost every year since I've done it, at least. So keep doing it. One of the ways I like doing it too is doing it in one color, but the row before the last of the shells, put in a separate color, a different color in there. It just gives it really a nice look. Like if you're doing a black hat, throw in like a white row, the one before the last one, or something that's high contrast. It really pops. So just my 2 cents. Next, Lisa of Lisa's Pine Notes. She's been on YouTube for a while. I've been following her for a while. She's doing a CMAL, I think it's a crochet make-along, And I was watching a few videos back, and I decided to donate a pattern to her prize. Butterfly, a free outside life noises. It's a three-tail, it's a dragonfly, not butterfly, three-tail dragonfly square that she's designed, and she's used it in a lot of different projects of her own. She's even, I think, designing a top out of it as well. So you guys, she's on Instagram a lot. She has a Ravelry group. I don't know about Facebook. But if you guys care to join in, I know Angelia is taking part in that MCAL or CMAL. But as a thank you, she sent me a thank you card, and it was like quite heavy. I'm like, wow, that's a heavy card. But what she did, which I thought was pretty cool. So Lisa's Pine Notes, her name, I guess she used to make cards, note cards and handwritten notes, note cards and such, before, I guess, yarn grabbed her. So she sent a card. It's one of her tulips. And on the inside, there's a note, but there's also some more of her pictures of her tulips. And then this is what her three-tailed dragonfly looks like, and she put it on a magnet, which I think is pretty cool. And the background is whenever if you see her videos, it's the background, I think in most or all of her videos, but this is the three-tail. Get a little closer so you can see it. The three-tailed dragonfly square, and it's on a magnet, like a postcard size magnet, which is pretty cool. So thank you very much, Lisa. So that was one. The other thing I got was a thank you card. If you guys, I'm sure you guys are all subscribed, have seen on her crochet with Jeannie, whenever she starts, she has that Clover Armour, I think it's the 15 millimeter hook, or is it the 12 millimeter hands. She does more wearable crochet, shawls and tops that she designs herself. I think she's starting to put her patterns out there as well. But on one of her videos where she was talking about I forget the name of it, it was a scarf or a shawlette or something she was wearing. She mentioned that she'd gotten a stitch marker. It was either a club that she was in or something she'd gotten in the mail. But only her second fancy stitch marker. I'm like, oh, well, I don't know what possessed me, but I made some stitch markers for her and sent them to her. And I'm trying, and so she sent me a thank you card, received. I think Jeannie's on vacation right now. I think a video just went up on her channel, but it might have been pre-recorded. But she's on vacation. So you know how I have my stitch markers, I call them hook minders, because you know when you're doing a project, and if you only have, even if you have two hooks of the same size, you've got multiple projects, so you take the hook out thinking you'll remember what size hook, and months later or even a week later for me sometimes, I'm like, nope, don't remember, and then you either start it and it doesn't look right because you don't remember what hook size. So I call them hook minders. You put that stitch marker on to, one, remind you of what hook you were using. Two, it could hold your stitches. It could just be a place marker as well. So I sent her a set of 5, and I guessed on the sizes that what I could remember that she uses a lot and when she crochets. So I made a set of 5, and a couple of people saw it and reached out and asked if I was selling it, because I sent it attached to one of my business cards, and they went looking and it wasn't there. So I'm not very sure if I'm going to start making them. It is a little bit time consuming, and all those little bits and pieces, but basically something that looks like that. Hers were a little different because I had different beads at the time, but so right now I have 3 sets of 5 and it goes from B, C, D, E, and F. So in my mind, I'm like, this is the amigurumi set of stitch markers. If you make amigurumi, you use the smaller hooks, and these are typically the sizes that you use. So these are 3 sets of them that I have, and there will be 5 in each of those sets. And then I'll make the next 5 G, E, F, G, no, that's G, E. G, H, I, J, K would be the next one, and then the next one would be for the bigger, my size, the chunky yarn size. So I haven't completely decided yet. I just whipped these up. Did I do it last night or the night before? Might have been, it was last night. So I'm going to make the other set. In the meantime, I don't even have anything to put these on if I were to put them in the store. So I'm giving it thought. It may just get attached to my business card for now, but we'll see. Haven't decided yet. So that's that with Jeannie. And then the other mail related thing, I got mail from our very own Kim of Classy Kim. She sent me, oh, this neon, it's not showing up. It is like morning neon, or what is it, the hunter neon orange color, and together with this black. It's looking yellow to me on screen, probably because I'm outside, but it is a really good combo. So it was just a token of appreciation, which is very kind, Kim. You did not have to do that at all, but she sent me stitch markers, and of course they're all turned around when I'm trying to show it to you. And then in there, you can't see because they're all, it spells REL in there, which I think is really cool. So yeah, and on this hook, so this actually just gave me an idea too of how to display those if I were to put it on my in my shop. So I got to find out where I can find these here. Oh, and there's also this. It's an M with a yarn ball attached. So Kim, you did not have to do that, but I very much so appreciate the kind thoughts. All right, my mouth is dry. Today I'm just doing Zinfandel, no mixture. Oh. Sutter home. Nothing extra fancy, and I was supposed to bring my thing of water, which I forgot, so I guess it's wine today. All right, I am prattling. Oh, the other thing I wanted to mention, awning cover. It's such a breezy, lovely day today. It's been really muggy and hot, and with all the rain that we've had, all it does is like release all the moisture, and it hasn't cooled off the air, but today is especially lovely. But the other thing is the Hat Not Hate campaign. They've extended it. It was supposed to be August 1st was the deadline to send stuff in, but they've extended it to September 1st. So if you guys wanted to participate, it has to be a blue hat. I think I've seen where people have variegated blue hats, but it has to be mainly a blue hat that if you're going to send in. But you have till September 1st to send anything in if you would still like to participate. So that is cool. All right. Like I said, my notes were very sparse. So in no particular order, I have a laundry basket here of all my stuff all out in some form or another. Whoops. I need to weigh that down so it doesn't blow away. All right. Whoops. I started this last night. I haven't made one of these in, it's got to be 2 years at least, I think. But I am planning on making, hang on, tangled. I am planning on making, I just saw the face I made right now, a hooded cowl. I haven't made one of these in forever. when I first started making these, I followed a tutorial by Harriet of African Crab. I don't think that tutorial is still up anymore. I don't know. And at the time, she didn't have a written pattern, but she does have one on her Etsy page for that. I will try to link to that if I remember on her Etsy page. I think she's having a sale on her Etsy page too, or she was, where she was discounting a lot of things getting ready for fall. She is a crochet beast. She crochets fast. She's really fast, like genuinely fast at it. But since then, you know, once you follow a tutorial or a pattern, you get the hang of something, then you kind of make it your own. I don't make it the way she makes hers at all anymore. I tend to change things every time I make it anyway. So I am using the yarn that was graciously donated to me by the anonymous person. So I've made a couple other things out of it already. Hopefully I'll get to show it. But I'm trying to use that up. And basically I've just made the hood. I need to sew up the hood and then make the cowl part. So that I did last night. And that's that for the whip. My other whip, which is an odd whip, is oh, doesn't this look like Star Trek, The Trouble with Troubles? So I am making, or will be making, faux fur pom-poms. They're a pain in the butt to make. There's this color, I don't know if it shows, it's brown underneath, and it's like a dirty pink, dusty pink kind of color to it, to this one. All I've done, I cut them out. I had to come on the deck to cut them out because I made the mistake the very first time I made it. I cut into them. I know a couple. Lacey of Hooked on Owls has a tutorial on how to do that. I don't know. I mean, they're pretty much done pretty much the same way. The thing is, the key is in how you cut it to minimize the fluff, because there will be a lot of fluff. If you just take your scissors and cut into it, you won't do that twice, because there's a lot of fluff that comes out, floof and fluff that comes out of it. That's why I came on my deck to do it, and then I swept up as much of it as I could, but the next day it looked like a cat or animals were having a shed party on my deck. But there's this pink one here, and then I have like a natural color here. I think I like that one better. And I forget what like some of them are fox, and what else is it? There's another like animal that it mimics, but I tend to like this one the best. But I forgot I had all this. I bought this like last year, and they were just sitting there. I never got around to it. So I think when I bought it, it was already winter, and I couldn't come outside to cut it, and it gets everywhere. So what you don't want to do is cut into it like you're just cutting a piece of cloth, because that will just shed for days all over the place. Like I said, I made the mistake the first time. There's a way that you can use an X-Acto knife to cut it, to just cut the backing. You'll still get shedding, but not as much as if you just cut into it. Plus, if you just cut into it, you get a really blunt edge here that doesn't look good when you try to put it together. So I think the most tedious part is feeding the string through, and look at it shedding all over me through it, because it is a little cumbersome is the word I guess I would use. So I still need to do that, and you need to find a good sturdy string, because you're going to need to be pulling on it a bit to close it up. And if you just use even ordinary yarn, it will break. So you need a good sturdy cotton something, or even thin nylon if you can, to really be able to pull and close it tight. And my recommendation is, when you stuff it, don't stuff it too hard, because you don't want a big stiff ball on the back. It doesn't sit right. So I have a whole bag basically and there's fluff everywhere. to sew up, but I'm just going to do it as needed. And I do have a few hats that need pom-poms. And I've done it with the button before, but I'm thinking I like the idea of just tying it on. That way it's easy to untie and then just feed back through and tie back on. When I did the button, it was hard trying to get that little elastic that's attached to it through the hat and then trying to get it onto the button. And I didn't think it was as secure as I'd like it. So I like the idea of tying, which I think I'll stick to. Anyway, that's what I need to do that I'm falling behind on. Dry mouth. That's lovely. Okay. Oh my gosh, it is everywhere. And let me tell you, when I cut it, I shook and shook and shook, and it's still. All right. So I think that's it for whips. My next item, I made a couple hats. Now, last time I said that stitch I used for the foot bridge, the Pebbles and Pathway is just another take on that. And then I also showed that red sparkly one last time that I did another same stitch, just using a different way, that my sister and the Minions, my Peanut Gallery, said it was too similar. So I'm still stuck on that. So I've done another take on it. And right now it's actually, the way I did it, it's actually on the side, but that really doesn't show it off. So I was just picking it up, and I think I like it in the front. So I may not write it up, but I'm definitely going to make a couple more for the craft fair. And then I had a little bit of yarn left, and I didn't know what to do with it, and I made a tiny one. I don't know. I think it's too thick for a newborn, and it's got wool content, so I don't know. Then again, all the folks who use, just exclusively hand-dyed, natural fiber, merino wool, it's wool, and they put that on babies. So why not? I don't know. Just a thought. But anyway, the other thing, I made another Victrina beanie last time that I didn't show. Oh, and the other thing I didn't bring, square number 15. I'll put in a picture because it's way inside. I finished that of the unraveled mitten, the stash busting cowl. So I did square number 15. That one I had little open skeins of that yarn, so I try to use them all. Because now I'm going to try to use pretty much a solid color from now on for the following years. But so I'm trying to think what the pink yarn in here. It's a variegated pink, and I love this part here where it's got purple in it. And you can't see too well with the fluffiness, but I used that. It was a candy shop. Premier, I think it's the Premier Candy Shop yarn. I used that to make one of the collaboration hats that I can't show you. And there was a little left, so I used that with, I don't know if you can hear, hubby's watching TV back there. I used it with latte cakes to make a small Victrina beanie. So yeah, feel the squishy feel, I love that. There's that, and then what do I show you next? The other thing I did, so I had shown in a previous video that I had gotten a box from Lisa of Happy to Hook. I had won one of her giveaways, and in there were I think there were 2 skeins of, oh my gosh, what is it? It was pink yarn, and I think it was a Bernat yarn. I cannot recall what it was, but it was a pink yarn, and basically I doubled it and then held it with a strand of latte cakes to make another 2-button cowl, which I love. Have I told you how much I love the latte cakes? I really do hope they bring it back, because I will be going in there every day with a coupon when it comes out to buy one just to stock up, even though I don't need to, but for that I will. it just pairs well with everything. Yeah, when they brought out the latte cakes last year, it was quite pricey. I think it was like $9, $8.99. It was up there for a cake, and they put it on sale for, I think it was maybe like $1 or $2 off, which was, not worth it. So I just waited out till the sale was over, and then I used a 50% off coupon. And I have a couple of Michaels near me, and I have a Michaels, a Joann, and a Walmart in one direction. So what I would do is go that way, go to Michaels first, use a coupon. Then leave, go to Joann's, do what I'm doing if I'm buying anything or whatever. And then on the way back, stop at Michael's again, use the coupon. So I can use it twice in one day. Just a little tip for you. It's rare that I hit the same cashier who might recognize me and say, oh, I've used it already, but most of the time they don't care. So yeah, that's what I do. And then when I get home, 5 minutes in the other direction, 5 minutes drive is another Michael's. So I go there and buy again. So that's how I use the Michael's coupon. And then if I can, if their coupon, really open up the AC More app or the Joann's app and use their 50% off coupon instead. So just a tip. The other things I did, I had some leftover yarn of that skein, so I made a Kalina. Oh, I just love that. It feels so lovely. And then I had, this purple is from, looking almost bluish, but it's purple. It's like a lavender purple. I had a small cake from December when I made headbands and cowls for my nieces, which they still wear. Oh, makes my heart go Peter patter. So that's what that was from. It was just sitting there. I'm on almost a mission to use up those partial skeins of yarn that I have there. I need to get back onto my scrap corner and start getting at that, because I'm on the decrease, but I'm still increasing on one side. Or did I start the total decrease? I might have started both decrease ends, but I really need to get that done. But this is, and this isn't really showing the colors, but it's really pretty. It's a Premier Everyday, and I forget what the color is, but it's the one that has golds and greens and pinks and like right here. I love that. It's just, and purple, this big splotch of purple, which isn't really showing up here, but I love it, love it. And you'll see I used that in something else, which I'll show you in a minute, but I had some leftovers. So again, latte cake. It just feels so lovely. Oh, there was another, I made a smaller one of what I had left. And then I had enough left to make a little just trying to focus on that. There you go. So I ran out, so the bottom is just, the tentacles are just the latte cakes, because I finally ran out of the purple. So there's that. And then I will show that last, and this one last. I'm also, like I said, I'm using up the yarn I was gifted, and it's Karen sprinkle cakes and tea cakes, I believe. So this is is it something birthday? It has the colorful Tweety bits in it. So I just made another Kalina headband, and this time I just cinched. I didn't wrap it around. All depends on what mood I'm in at the time. So the other thing I'm using, I usually don't have hats for boys or men, because for 3 years in a row when I did the craft fair, none of the men wore hats. If one did, it was a surprise, or not surprise, but it was just a pleasant surprise, I guess, that there was actually a guy who bought a hat for himself. And then a man came by with his wife, and he wanted a hat for his nephew who was graduating. And and I had made a hat. I think it looked like a jester hat, and he actually commissioned one for him, and he actually showed back up, I think last year or the year before, at one of the fairs that I was, and he remembered. But I'm trying to have plain, simple hats for the guys, and I've done a couple of regular knitted ones that they seem to be more interested in. For the crochet ones, it has to be like a plain single crochet or half double crochet type beanie. But for the knitted ones, they tend to go towards it more. So the other thing I'm trying to do is go through my library, my Ravelry library, because I have almost 6,000 things in there, which will never get anywhere close to being worked on. That some of that includes like paid patterns, but the most of it is just free patterns. I'm like, I see it. Oh, I just put it in the library for now, thinking I'll get to it. So I was thinking, what can I do for men? And I ran across, or I was going through my knitting folder of patterns, and there was one by, I think it's Lavania Patricelli. I think that's the one. She has two hats. One is called the photographer's hat, or the photography hat, and the other one is the standing rock hat. I will put links to them below. But I think this is the standing rock hat. The photography beanie looks a lot like the, what does he call it? The, what's it called? The sockhead hat. But the sockhead hat obviously is in sock yarn. I think hers is in either DK or worsted, but it looks very similar to that, just on a bigger scale. So her standing rock, I decided, oh, I can make that, and I think it was listed in worsted as well. But I didn't want to do obviously something in worsted, and I can pretty much figure what the multiples are. Again, that's why I like to give multiples in my pattern. I can figure out what the multiples are and just use whatever I had. So I started doing it. I'm like, oh, I've done this before. It's just a basic 2x2 rib that you just do the whole hat in, is what it is. So I did it. Now you can see the little bumpiness at the top. When I was probably like a quarter of the way in it. I'm like, oh, that's all it is. I've done this before on my own. And that's one of the hats of mine that actually sold, because I was doing ribbing, and then I just decided to keep going and did it. That's basically what this is. I don't know if I did something wrong at the top, which I kind of like here. But when I said, oh, I know what I'm doing, I just kept going, and I decreased my own way. Keep that in mind. See how it's looking a little ridgy? And again, this is the donated hat. This is, I think this is ginger spice. Is it ginger spice? Or mocha spice, one of them. Because I took off the labels to wash the yarn, because they were in the box for a while and just sitting there, so I wanted to wash them. And I don't remember, so it was either ginger spice or mocha spice. And then this one is, I don't remember what the name is, but top is a little smoother compared to that one. So I followed her decrease here. So obviously my decrease doesn't work as well as hers, but basically it's a 2x2 rib. It's a free pattern. It's a 2x2 rib hat, and you can wear it slouchy. That's one of the things I like about knitting, is how, look at this little thing would look like it's for, a 6-month-old or something, but the stretch is enormous. So you can wear it long, or you can cuff it and have yourself like a beanie, fitted beanie with the extra warmth with the folded brim. So this one I did on 48 stitches. This one I did on 60. And I used an 8mm for both. So yeah, very easy, quick, and if you're doing craft fairs, the men's will like these, or so far they have. So yeah, that's that. And then coming to the end, oh, so the yarn that Lisa gave me, even though I don't have the band, this was the needle, Chow Goose. I do like the Chow Goose. I have the Knit Picks needles, but after using the Chow Goose and I go to use that, I realize they're there as backup. Oops, what did I just do? Ooh, okay. They're there as backup, but I always go to the Chow Goose. So this was the second skein of the one that Lisa sent. She had sent two. I used it for, did I use it for something else? Yeah, I used it to finish that. After I did the 2-button cowl, I used what I had left to start this, and then I didn't have enough, so I had to break into the second skein to finish it. And it's in the little, I think she calls it the mini maker bag from Dabbling. And there's her label. But yeah, it's the perfect size for a cake. So if you ever want to buy something from Dabbling, especially when she's having a sale, get the mini maker bag and you have yourself a little cake holder. It just keeps everything in place. So, all right, I can start putting that back here. All right. So I was going to put this on the mannequin, but I'm not. Hopefully I can show you. So what I made, the first thing I made with the yarn that was donated, the Karen tea cakes. Ooh, look, I just didn't notice a knot that was in the yarn. Guess I didn't crochet over it too well enough. Nobody will notice. What I made, and I'll put in a picture as well, but I made a fringe triangle cowl, and this was almost 2 full cakes of the Karen tea cakes. And I want to say it's a birthday colorway or something like that, but I do not recall. But yeah. And I made it even a little bigger than what the pattern I have out there because the people who bought it, my clientele, seem to be a little fuller, is what I would say. So they want something a little bigger. So I figured I would try a little bigger size, excuse me. All right. Okay, so what's been back here? And I actually kind of love it. So this is, and I will put pictures as well because on the screen it looks a little dark. But this is the Yvette shawl. And again, this is more of the yarn that Lisa sent me. This is Hobby Lobby sugar wheel, I think. I don't think I've used a sugar wheel before. And the color is blue something. Muffin? Blueberry muffin? I don't know. I'll put it on the screen if I can find the wrapper when I edit. But it's not my color. And again, you know, you can't always make things it's your color. But when you're working on it, you need to feel the inspiration. And it just wasn't. Looking at it, it's just not my colors. There's purples and blues. I know that's you guys' colors. I'm all about the golds and the reds and the brighter colors. So I looked over the stash and I have a couple of skeins in one cake and 2 skeins of yes, I have 2 skeins of shawl in a ball with the sparkle, and I have a cake of one too. And it's just been sitting there. So I decided to hold it with one cake. So this is, did I use one cake? No, it's not one cake. It's about 1.5 cakes that I use of the, oh my gosh, my brain is like freezing. Sugar wheel. 1.5 cakes of the sugar wheel with 1 skein of the shawl in a ball. And I think I still have a little bit, or did I use it in something else, of the shawl in a ball left. But it wasn't enough to go to make another row. So actually no, I don't have any more of the shawl in a ball left because I used it for the tassels. And I am team tassel. I love a tassel. I think it adds almost, on one hand it looks adds like a shabby chic feel to it. It depends on the color you use. And then it also adds like a classic look to it as well. I like a tassel. So yeah, this is the Yvette shawl, Yvette Granny shawl. And what I did, I tweaked it a little bit because I like a wide, not a deep, I don't like the deep V, but I like a wide shawl. I also like that angel wing almost curve to shawls. So I tweaked it a little to get that angel wing effect. And hopefully you can see it when I put the pictures in. So yeah, I tweaked the ends so I can have that. And then I am absolutely rubbish with borders, or at least coming up with a border that I'm not taking from somebody else to add to a pattern. So I actually am quite pleased with what I did here on this one. And I made quick notes of what I did, so hopefully I can use it in something else because it's simple enough. This was the second round. The first time I did it, I had little points like here and there, and then it was just too much for me because it's the picot, a little bit of picot, and I'm not a big fan of picot, so I didn't want it like every single point have that, so I changed it a little. So I'm quite pleased with how it came out. I think it adds just the right amount of finish to it, along with, of course, the tassels. I love the tassel. So that's that. And I'm quite pleased with that, but I want it in a nice brighter cherry color. So I think last time I showed the mandala ombre in the happy colorway, and I think that would be perfect for another Yvette shawl. But I need something to go with it. I need it thicker. So I need to see if the sparkle cake of shawl in a ball that I have goes with it at all, because I think I need to start another one, even though I have other things I need to be doing right now. But I want to start another one. It took me a day and a half or so to do that because, I cannot crochet for hours at a time. I can't do it. I've tried. I get easily bored. I need to stop. To exercise my hand. Mentally, I just can't do it for hours. I admire the people who can sit for hours in crochet. I can't do that. But anyway, so lastly, one of the other things that's always been on my list for a long time, even before everyone has been making them lately, I've had it on my to-do list for a while, was Timothy the T-Rex. Somebody else was making it. I think it was like 3 years ago. Someone was making it. And I saw it and I put it on my to-do list or my queue. And I believe it was gifted to me by someone. You know who you are if it was you. Well, I don't want to say who it is if it's the wrong person. But, and that was months and months ago, so I finally decided to make it because now everyone's making them. I did have a question, though, for those who make it. So anyway, this is the one I made. And this is, of course, I always need to put a smile on my toys. I know some people are pro no smile. I like to put it on. I think it finishes off. But this is the Deborah Norville Serenity Everyday. No, Deborah Norville Everyday. I have another skein, I think, of this. I want to make this in a solid color without the color changes. But I like how smooth the color changes are. Usually when you do the color changes in the spiral, things are a little off. And this pattern, they did a good job. It's a bit of concentrating when you're doing it and remembering where you need to change. But I used, is it Spring Green? Red Heart Super Saver, I think it's the Spring Green. So the contrast is not very contrasty. But, so my question, I'm following along the pattern, and I overthink patterns sometimes, which sometimes is to my detriment because I make mistakes, or I don't think I can, I'm not understanding it, and sometimes I have to put it aside and come back later, and then it's like, but following along the pattern, when it tells you to do the eyes, it doesn't really tell you to do it unstuffed because you have to do the yarn to pull to give it the indentation. So if you do it stuffed, it makes it very difficult to put the eyes in. So question to the two Kims, Blue Cherub 82 and Kim's Crafty Corner. That Kim and Quinn, and who else has done this one? I don't know if the other third Kim of Crafty Nomad has done one. Do you guys do the indentation before you stuff? No. Afterwards, I'm like, you could have just put the eyes in and then do the indentation after, which I'm sure is what they meant, but I didn't think the pattern was explicit enough that that's what you had to do. But either way, I'm quite pleased with it. I want one in a solid color, something nice and bright and punchy, or maybe a solid color with little speckles in there, but not as saturated as this one, even though I do love this colorway, and I do. And the legs came out 2 different colors, and got my tag, and it's focusing on the mannequin. There you go. Not my face. There you go. So hopefully I'll remember to put it down below. And guys, 99.9% of the time, things I talk about, it's in the little arrow or the show more. Click on that. It'll be down there in the notes area. But people always ask where I get my labels. You can search Etsy. There are tons of people who do it on Etsy. There are 2 people that I've been using for a long time. Actually, there are 3 people. One I haven't used in a long time. And I think I just finished up the batch that I bought from her years ago. It was some like mustard color suede labels that I just finished. Do I have any? No. But there is a seller called I'm babbling. I hope you guys watch, sidebar. I watch videos on 1.7 or 2 times speeds, pretty much all the time. And if there's something like I didn't hear, I miss, I'll rewind or slow it down just to hear that. But that's the only way I can get through all the all the videos I watch, sidebar. But I forget what I was saying. Roberto Sands is the guy on Etsy. His shop name is called Bullfrog. Bullfrog something. I just know him as Roberto Sands. I've sent a few people his way over the last few years, but he is super awesome to work with. Very accommodating. The one thing he doesn't do, I buy these from All This Wood on Etsy as well. It's a husband-wife team. They're very popular. A lot of people on Instagram use them, but there are a lot of other people that do this as well on Etsy. Those are the 2 that I use. With Roberto Sands, his are pretty much raw, the wood, whereas they kind of burn the wood a bit, and they have a stain that they put on it. You actually, with All This Wood, you have options for, I think, 4 or 5 different stains. I know cherry is one, which I think is what I usually get. There's mahogany. Maybe it's 4 options there, but cherry and mahogany are 2. His are just the wood, and the edges are, can't see it. The edges are brown and burned from, I guess, the process, but there's no other stain that he puts on it. It's just that. But I will put the link to both of those. I put it in previous videos. That's where I get all my tags. I'm sure All This Wood does other things besides the wood tags, but I've only ordered the wood tags from them. From him, I also order my suede labels. Oh, can't see that. I also order my suede labels. I'm trying to block this. Can you see it? Not focusing. But he can customize the size that you want. And like I said, he's really, really accommodating. The other I have two. I have a thin one that just has my name and the hook on the label, and then I also have the one that has the yarn ball from my label on it, and it's a thicker one, and it folds, and it's the same thing on both sides, so you can fold it. That's what I first started buying from him, and then I wanted something thinner, so basically I ordered 3 different things. Oh, and he also makes the little Amber of Will Crochet, you asked. He also makes the little stitch markers that I use that has my my name on it. He makes those for me as well. So like I said, he's very accommodating, really nice guy. He just got married. I think while I was on vacation. So he just got married in January. His shop was closed for a couple of weeks then, but he's back up and running, so that's where I get that from. All right, last few things. The rest of that skein from the dino, I made another, excuse me, I made another octo. And I used a super saver for the tentacles. And mostly I used the round, buttons tag for my amigurumi. I used to order, I have one other shape. I had an oval shape I used to order from him. I don't do that one anymore. You know, you have to try different things to see what works best for you, and that's where I landed all this wood for this one, and then Roberto sand for that one. And then the other thing that's been going around, and I blame Angelia, and I blame Karen, and who else made them? There's somebody else I named on Instagram who I blame, been making these. But they are Hooked by Hooked by, I don't know if it's Katie or Caddy, but we'll go with Katie for now because I don't know the pronunciation. Hooked by Katie. I've been following her on Instagram. She has some cool and interesting amigurumis that she does. She has one that's a mermaid horse. Somebody else was making that. I don't remember who. Is it Ashley of Ashlove Makes who's making that? And then she also has the peacock, which is freaking awesome looking, but all the pieces that have to be made, nope. Maybe after Craft Fair I might give it a try, but not anytime soon. But she's a really cool peacock with all the little individual feathers that go down the bottom. But the thing that everyone's been making, and they're super quick, and you can really, it's a good scrap buster, are the oysters. The flippin' oysters. I was meaning to make one when I first saw it, and then everybody is making it, and you know, that FOMO kicked in, and that I made a black pearl. The FOMO kicked in. So I whipped up 4 of them, like right after each other. On 2 little ones, I put the little, whatever you call it, on the back. And then on the big ones, I didn't on the big ones, but hold on, I can't turn that way. Nope, that way. So yeah, this one I gave a smile because, you know, I need to. It just, for me, it just completes it for me. Other people know, but I just need to. So yeah, I think they're cute. I keep wanting to make a really nice bright, like the one Angelia made in, I think she used one of the Red Heart Stripes yarn, so it's nice and bright. But I keep going to all my my scrap yarns and whatever to make them. So this is the same purple that was in here, so I use that. So yeah, that is what I've been doing. I think that's it. Hasn't felt like much. I still have my headache on and off. Maybe it's just old age. I don't know what it is, but I don't know. Maybe I think I'm stressed and I don't know it, that in a month my craft season begins, and the first craft fair is it's called Start on the Street, and I hear it's supposed to be really big. I've never had a chance to go visit them because it's usually on the same day as something just fell. I hope it wasn't a bug. On the same day as one of my previous craft fairs that I decided not to do anymore because I didn't care for how last year went. So yeah, this will be my big one. I think I'm stressing trying to have enough things to bring because it's I heard it's supposed to be big and all that. So I don't know. But the other thing I've been using, my backpack since vacation has become like my go-to. I remember I said that I made it the morning that we were leaving, and it was a rush job, and I had to tack this down. Well, I really didn't do a good job. I was rushing, so I need to, and I've still been using it all week, and I meant to just tack it down because I can't get it unless I rip the seam to get it in, which I'm not going to do. I'm just going to zigzag tack it down again to keep it in place. But it has become even though the straps are a little too small and it needs a little interfacing, it's become my go-to take everywhere bag. So I'm quite pleased with that. I did buy no yarn, but fabric. And I haven't sewn like a stitch. I was supposed to sew yesterday at lunch and after work, and that didn't happen at all because everything that can break has been breaking. The dishwasher didn't stop working, but it wasn't working properly. It wasn't cleaning, and there were always bits and stuff on. Turned out it had to have motor or something replaced. It had to be ordered, so we had to reschedule because I took the day to work from home and switch. It's one of those days. And remember Marvin? Well, Marvin eats crickets, so crickets have to come into the home. And Minion 1, I guess, hadn't been too careful when he was unboxing them, so they've gotten around, and every once in a while you'll see a cricket. Well, on Monday there were 4 crickets that I found, and then Tuesday there was another cricket, so I was quite upset. And on Thursday night I kept hearing this chirping. I'm like, what is that? I thought it was from outside because the doors were open. No, turns out there was one under the kitchen sink somewhere. Couldn't find it, and it was so loud. And yesterday it was just so loud. Minion 1 noticed it Friday morning, didn't say anything. And then by the time I really, I said Thursday, so this happened Friday morning. He noticed it Friday while I'm working. I work from home on Friday. I noticed it, and I'm way over an hour. Yeah. And Friday night I even called the pest control people to come back because I called them after finding 4 on Monday. I called them. And there's really not much they do for crickets, but he did spread some stuff around. And last night I was going down to our basement where our laundry is, and I'm halfway down the stairs. I'm like, oh no. I hear the noise again, and I thought we have a dehumidifier going. I thought that's what it was, so I turned it off. Nope, noise still going. And then it was somewhere in between the stairs, and I couldn't figure out where. So I have this spray that you can use on the inside and outside, pest spray. So I couldn't find it. I got my flashlight. I'm looking, couldn't find it. So I decided to spray, and it hopped out. And just that one cricket is so loud, so loud. Ugh. So yeah, that one got squashed. I come back upstairs, sat down. 10 minutes later, I'm hearing, it's nighttime now, and the later it gets, the louder it sounds. And I couldn't find it under the sink. It was there. So I have this mixture of vinegar and soap, like a drop of soap and vinegar and water. That's what I use to clean. So I decided to spray into any of the cracks and any of the openings I could find. And I was expecting it to come out. No. I went back to sit down. Noise is even louder. So I got my flashlight again, and I'm looking, and there it is. That one cricket. So loud. So I text Minion 1. I'm like, come down here quick. He comes down. I'm like, go get it. Because I didn't want to try to hold the light and get it at the same time. So I took the kitchen towel, and I'm like, here, make sure you catch it in the kitchen towel. And of course, he didn't want to kill it. He tossed it outside. I'm like, it's just going to make its way back in here. Anyway, but there's just one cricket was so loud. It's driving me insane. I was like ready to go call a hotel to go sleep. It was just so loud. So far, cricket drama solved. And on that lovely chirpy noise, I'm going to go because I'm way over an hour. I don't like to make it that long, but sorry. 2 weeks in a row, long video. Oh, sorry, Columbo. Random act of sharing. The bag that I showed before that I did an oopsie on when I didn't roll the edge. I didn't hem the edge. So you're going to get a chance to get a dabbling hook oopsie. So what I'm going to do is pull somebody from the previous video and do that. So stay tuned, be on the lookout, and I will talk to you guys later because it's way too long and I'm going to have to edit. And yeah, bye. See you guys.